Wasn't part.
We good?
Are we?
Sure.
We're bringing the thunder.
Yep.
All right.
Let's bring the heat.
We good? 5, 4, 3. Let us heads. We are here with a special edition of Please Let Us Golf, the podcast. Everyone's been waiting for it. If you haven't, at least we've been waiting for it. We just got off of a 1-week bender, Wisconsin. We're talking Erin Hills. We're talking everything at Sand Valley Resort, Lasonia Links. This is our first deep dive we're taking on Erin Hills, and a special treat. You have the full plug crew with you. Of course, yours truly, Goldie. We have Jewel for the first time on the official pod. We have Adam, the photog, the historian, and we of course have Aaron, Mr. Golfberg himself. And we're guys.
Hello.
This is gonna be special. Okay. A lot of Erin Hills content coming out right now. We recognize that. How is this going to be different? We're going to be immersive. We're going to deep dive. You're going to get, this isn't a fluff piece. You're going to get 4 differing opinions. We're going to go through operations, special things you need to know about the property, full front 9, back 9 course review. We might even talk about the halfway house a little, couple special treats, couple special drinks. But no, we are passionate about this. We think it's going to be awesome. We'll overlay some pics, some videos. You're going to see on the ground correspondence of what it's really like to be at Erin Hills. So boys, let's get this thing started. First thing we're going to do, I'm going to kick it over to Adam, our photog, our historian. Give us, for the uninitiated, who doesn't know about Erin Hills, but give us a little insight into why Erin Hills is what it is.
Yeah, so Erin Hills, located in Erin, Wisconsin, about 40 miles northwest of Milwaukee. Pretty easy drive. Course opened in 2006. They opened up the 18-hole championship course. And when I say championship course, guys, I mean it's a big boy, big girl championship layout. The course, I mean, it's only been open, it's less than 20 years, and it's hosted some big time tournaments. It's hosted a US Am in 2011. Obviously, the 2017 US Open that Brooks won was there. And next year, it's going to be hosting the 2025 U.S. Women's Open. So, I mean, that's the whole reason this course was
God
built.
have mercy on their souls.
Yeah, what these they play?
Play from the tips, baby. Let's kill them. But yeah, I mean, the whole reason this place was built was to host big time tournaments like this. But in addition to the 18-hole championship course, they've got a cool little 5-hole loop that they call the Kettle Loop course that we got to play the day that we got in. It's a good course to go out if you're playing maybe the next day. You want to go out on this Kettle Loop, kind of get familiar with the property. It's super fun. It takes maybe hour 15 to play. So you go out, you play the first, second, third. I think you skip the 4th hole, and then you play the 5th and the 6th, and you're kind of playing.
It's not bonus holes, which confused me. I didn't realize when we were on there that we were actually on the first hole of the course, because all these other awesome courses have like a bonus course you can go play, right?
Right.
Oh, these guys just sneak you right on their own course. Just a slightly different angle on the first tee.
Anyway. So Adam, 2 things on that Kettle Loop too. One, it's offered for overnight guests, complimentary, so it's not an additional cost. And I think the secret sauce is you play it in the golden hour. So you want to talk about views on views on views, illumination. It's as good as it gets in the setting sun.
Pretty unreal.
Absolutely, man. Grab a beer, go out, have some fun. It's kind of it's a great warm up to getting out and playing before you get your, doors blown off, the next day. It's a great warm up. And then once you get done with that, we went out that evening at night and played so they got a 63,000 square foot putting course that's lit up. We had the bets flying that night, man. It was so much fun.
I was chasing.
I'm convinced every single golf destination has to have a lighted putting course. It's so much fun.
Yeah. I mean, so it's open till 11 p.m. So it's coming, right off the main clubhouse, the back porch. They got drinks flowing. You walk down these 6 set of stairs. You got 50 yards. You're right at the first tee of the drumlin. You got the drink stands on every hole. We did a couple loops on there, and yeah, it's an awesome compliment to the property for sure. Adam, any closing comments on the Erin Hills property tee up there?
No, I mean, gosh, it's just such a cool property. They've got that kind of the Irish theme going, and I know we're going to get into some of the the operations, the clubhouse. So I won't get too far into that, but
Don't steal
yeah,
our Mr.
uh,
Operations thunder.
uh,
Jules chomping at the bit to jump in there. He's being patient. But all right, so let's kick it over to Aaron Golfberg. You were the fourth one to get there, so we're sitting down at the patio. I see you coming down. What are the first impressions you had of Erin Hills when you got out there?
Yeah, I arrived alone, right? So got to just experience this for myself. And it's really, the drive is a little unremarkable. I'm used to the upper Midwest. You're just kind of making your way through some highways, through some random trees. Then all of a sudden you hit a little guard gate. There's one guy sitting there, nice dude, super unofficial. Hey, if your name's on the list, they let you through. Um, and then all of a sudden everything kind of opens up. And it was as if, they must have removed 1 million or 2 million trees to create this insane valley. And you drive up to the clubhouse and there's a guy who greets you and you notice just everything is super minimalist, right? There's this structure, this wooden old school kind of structure that's the pro shop, I guess, in the restaurant, and you kind of look off in the distance. There's another little structure that's the Caddy barn. The lodge is close by, and you're kind of looking around, and there's like 3 people working there, and you don't really see anyone else. It's sort of crazy that way. Like you feel
Mhm.
like you're all of a sudden entered like another planet, which is
Yeah.
awesome. It's a good feeling when you're on a trip like that. And you walk into the clubhouse. They take your car away, and then you walk out of the back of the clubhouse and that's your first view, and it's unbelievable. And
Hey,
I
when you
think
said
that
they
is
take the car away, we literally didn't know where the car went when we tried to get it again. We were like, "Where does the car go?"
yeah, they must have some underground parking structures. Yeah, you have no clue. um, they do a good job of hiding a lot of that stuff from you, so you only see what they want you to see. But just a stunning view where you're kind of just looking at these rolling hills, as you'd imagine, and green and a couple different shades of green. And then the trees kind of line up, but the trees are far away. And it's just an absolutely stunning view, and it gets you super motivated, right? To get
Hell
out
yeah.
there and whip it up a little bit. Um, and then you start playing golf and things start to change a little bit.
What a professional teaser. So, all
Yeah.
right, so I'm amped up. I feel like I'm there. I went through the gates with Mr. Golfberg. I get the vistas, the views. It's natural. They didn't touch a lot of land. It's just as it existed. Could have been some significant tree removal. We're not going to fact check ourselves on that. But then let's kick it over to Jewel. So Jewel, our COO, Mr. Operations himself. So give a little rundown of operations and facilities, what you observed, what you like, maybe what you didn't like, but yeah, let the folks know. Let the lettuce heads inside Jules' mind, the
Y-
operator.
Well, we don't want to go there, but Aaron hit it pretty well. You pull up this beautiful, expansive piece of property, and you pull up to the clubhouse. I'm in an Uber. It's like 11:30 a.m. and there's a guy sitting there waiting for me. I get out. I've been traveling. I've been in Austin. I'm going straight from Austin to Milwaukee to Erin Hills. I've got like 4 bags. I've got golf clubs, 3 travel bags, and I'm like, hey, what should I do with this? He's like, don't worry, dude. Just go check in. I got it. I'm like, you gonna leave any of this? No, I've got it. What do you want? I was like, I'll just keep my book bag. He's like, all right. So he just took all that to our room, set it up for us. So that first moment when I got there and he took care of that for me, felt like it was gonna be a pretty special couple of days. So I go in, check in. The clubhouse isn't overly it's kind of quaint, it's a
Mhm.
little smaller and it does not feel like it was built in 2006. As you're going into the pro shop, if you didn't, I don't know if you guys, we didn't really talk about this, but the locker room was special. Like the locker room was fantastic. There's this big, massive TV up in the middle of the locker room with showers running down the side, just all the amenities you need. It was a really, really cool little space.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah,
and
Everyone's
so
showering up, high-fiving during the football games. It's awesome.
yeah, memorabilia flying,
got
dingling flying.
got their slides on. Um, so from that first moment, the hospitality was excellent. And I would say I'd probably give the entire experience somewhere around 8.5. I mean, it wasn't a Ritz Carlton, but it was really nice, and they took care of you. The only downside was probably the restaurant ops. Just the food was okay. The
Mhm.
service was just not very good.
Coffee
maybe
situation.
they're
Yeah.
couldn't get coffee going in the morning, couldn't service in a quickly manner, and I think maybe it's just struggling to get staff out from Milwaukee to Erin Hills. It's middle of nowhere. I don't
There
know.
was coffee at the range though, which I figured out.
Yeah.
So I think you just gotta go straight to the range in the morning
Range.
like I wanted to do.
They're trying to get
Yeah,
you out
you found the backdoor alley to the
Yeah.
coffee.
Yeah.
The only thing I
Aaron
would
went
say
straight
is
to the caddies. Hey, you guys got some coffee in here?
there.
He's a big caddy guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
More
guys who
to
know how to
come.
get things done.
it just felt like there could have been a little bit more attention on the restaurant when you're, spending a little money on golf and stay. That was my only, I'd say,
Yeah.
downfall on operations.
Yeah, I'd concur 100%. The restaurant thing was the only oddity, and again, it wasn't bad, but considering there's so few people on the property at one time, it
And the only
doesn't
thing the only thing Jewel lied about is that you're not spending a little bit of money on property.
you're
You're
spending a lot.
spending a shitload of money on property.
Yeah.
A lot. And so you kinda want, everything humming and
We'll edit that out.
maybe not everything.
Also, Jewel also had a conversation with Tom Kite because they were having an architect summit up there and
Yeah,
didn't
man.
realize it. And so that's a Jewel 101 too. He was just trying to get his damn coffee that morning, and Tom Kite's trying to talk about his Austin golf club hat.
Yo, Tom
Dude,
Kite jacked the last cup.
I did not give a shit about talking to this old man. Like, just trying to get to the coffee stand and out to the range. And he's wanting to talk about Austin Golf Club and Austin Country Club. I was like, man, I've never played Austin Country Club. Just finished Austin Golf Club. It's great, isn't it? He's like, yeah, Ben did a wonderful job. I probably should have known at that point.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
okay. All right. Anything else on operations before we get into the actual course review deep dive?
No, all good here. What about you guys?
I will say one last thing. I was gonna say when Aaron was mentioning, when you arrive on property, you just feel like you're away from everything. You literally don't see like another home or establishment anywhere. And as the historian of this pod, I was doing a little research, and our guy Bob Lang, who actually was the one that purchased the land and built Erin Hills, dude was a total lunatic. There was some houses around Erin Hills. He was just buying them up. Like he like super overextended himself. He like bought them up, like got rid of them. He's like, I don't want anything near this golf
Wow.
course. And he made it like his life mission to bring a U.S. Open to Erin Hills, and kind of got him into some financial trouble. But hey, I did a little deep dive. The making of Erin Hills has to be like its own pod. It's wild.
Oh, hell yeah. Good teaser.
Jokes on that, dude. Everybody that goes turns into financial trouble afterwards.
Yeah.
Jesus.
That's the bit. All right,
And
guys.
and by the way,
Yep.
wait, and before you and that was Thursday, right? We got there whenever we got there. I got there in
Yeah.
the late afternoon.
We all
That
flew
was-
in and we went straight to the course, right? That
just
was
wanna
when we
say
first got there.
Right. And Thursday was a phenomenal day. Just a great day. It was a combination of getting there, being incredibly wowed by the property, checking in, feeling like you're being taken care of. You got to do
Weather's
the kettle
perfect.
loop, right?
Weather's
Perfect
not a
weather,
cloud in the
5
sky. Yeah.
5 or 6 crazy golf holes. Then we got to do the Kremlin loop that night, drinking, had a good dinner.
Cheese
The
curds.
next day when we woke up and played Erin Hills, things got a little crazier, but just that first day was phenomenal. So if you get there, it's really nice to have a night before
Yeah.
where you can just settle in, get a lay of the land, do that putting
Oh, yeah.
course. That's a
We're
really good tip.
We're here for pro tips, and that is the pro tip. Get there the afternoon before, do the kettle loop, check everything out, go to the drumlin, aka the Kremlin, have all the bets and the funds, and be smiling cheek to cheek, getting ready for the next morning. All right, guys. So we're gonna jump over to the course review, but I want everyone to have an opportunity here. Those first tee feelings. So we've done the Thursday as Aaron just laid out.
Mhm.
All these positive experiences. We're at Erin Hills. I'll start off. My expectations were, I was really thinking this was going to net out around a top 5 course that I've ever played. I don't have an international catalog of courses, but have a pretty good domestic catalog. And a lot of people I respect in golf speak very highly of Erin Hills. The second you get off the course, I want to hit that shot again. I got to get back. The property's amazing. So that's where I was at on the first tee. And it's the first full round of a multi-day Wisconsin golf trip when we got sick golf lined up. So my adrenaline's pumping. So
Mhm.
that's where I'm leaving that off. Jewel, where were you at?
Oh, I was ecstatic. I had some nerves, but yeah, super pumped. It was got the 5 holes in the night before and kind of gave you the feel of what you're about to experience. And just, yeah, I was pumped.
Adam?
Yeah, man. Same thing with all the things you just said. That first hole, it's kind of weird because it's not a gentle handshake, that's for sure. And you kind of have that ridge over to the right where you can't really see what's on the other side, but you know that like that opens up the rest of the golf course. And yeah, man, you're just kind of super jacked to get your day started. And I mean, everything that you heard about Erin Hills is it's the like the number one course in Wisconsin. Maybe Whistling Straits. I know we're gonna get some pushback there, but
Mhm.
um, yeah, man, it was
All right.
awesome.
All right, Golfberg, what first tee, you're up there. What's going through the brain?
Well, a week before, I'm watching the 2017 Open. I'm
Mm.
watching Koepka tear things up, watching JT stripe 290-yard three wood. So fully expecting to have these kind of par five, just badass experiences. I was definitely thinking I was going to do that. And one thing I realized is how remarkable this course looks from all of the awesome PGA Tour footage and the drones and the cool flyovers and all that stuff. I mean, the course just looks incredibly friggin' cool on TV. So I was just, yeah, I was expecting to be completely wowed. I also thought it was going to be a top 5, top 10 course. And Aaron, with the name Aaron, I thought I was going to take over that place potentially. I don't know. I was chomping at
we'll,
the bit.
we'll find out.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, man. All right, let's do it. So, okay, we're going to tackle this front nine. So, highlights, lowlights, what we liked, what we didn't like. We'll try to do it sequentially as we went through the course. So, this first hole, Adam kind of teed it up. It kind of protects you on the right side to where you don't see what's on the other side of those kind of sand dunes, those mounds. And like Adam said, it's not really a gentle handshake. It is a par five. You can go 4 and 2, but it's pretty much hazard down the left, and it's one of the only areas on the course that I can think of that's actually a hazard. Most of it's just fescue or rough.
Mm.
Um, but you have this bunker lined on the right. You have 2 center line bunkers that are pretty much your target. But the tee, okay, for context, tees we were playing were like 7,069 something. So it was the green tees there. We didn't play at 7,700 yards. Sorry. But yeah, so a lot of golf course still, but those center line bunkers start coming in play with the run out because it was firm out there, it was fast. Everyone kind of hits a solid tee shot. I did catch a little fairway bunker. But my takeaway on the first hole, Aaron, is it's a cool opening hole. But in retrospect, as we go through the rest of the course, it was a very unique hole. It was one of the only ones that actually felt linksy to me.
Mhm.
In that you could use the 70, 80 yards in front of the green to actually run the ball up. We'll get into it in the other holes, but that is not the way the rest of the course plays. So it almost kind of sets you up for an okey doke a little bit. But cool opening hole,
Yeah.
but definitely a little odd relative to the rest of the course. What'd you think?
Especially as it compares to the 18th hole, which we won't get into now, but like just complete opposite. So
Mhm.
yeah, fun hole gives you like a chance to kind of play a cool run out shot, use a bank to your advantage. Couple different places to miss. So yeah, pretty opening hole. Liked it a
Yep.
lot.
Yeah.
It's definitely completely different than the rest of the course. It was like the one hole that just didn't feel like it was part of the rest of the course. I mean, you kind of feel like they're trying to get you out. You know,
But
it's
let me
the first
also say
hole.
it was one of my favorite holes on the course. So
I
I don't know
agree.
what that says.
No, yeah, it's weird. It was one of my favorite holes too.
Well, I think it's because, again, we'll hopefully have some pictures, videos that gives us more context. But since you play back down, it almost gets you to like the bottom of the property, and
Mhm.
then you just work your way back up. And then you have a couple moments where you come down, but then you just work your way straight back up. So yeah, definitely cool opener. Definitely,
I
yeah.
I did since we're talking about the hole though, I did notice something on the first green that I started to notice on quite a few of the greens though. And I don't
Mhm.
know, are we going to talk about greens?
Yeah, go. You can go into it.
I remember seeing your birdie putt bumping like 4 or 5 times on its way to the hole. And I saw that a lot on that course and it was sort of surprising. And if we didn't have a $450 green fee, maybe you're not thinking about it too hard, but
Yeah.
I don't
So I let's jump into it real quick. There's no better time than now. Tee to green, the property is immaculate as you'll find. Maybe the most immaculate that I've played. But I would be remiss not to concur with what Aaron just said. I was a little disappointed in the greens. You don't expect to go play a pebble, a whistling. I know people ran into it at Bandon last year, even. Those greens were struggling, and I don't really get it because it was a very dry season for them, and that's bent. And that's usually if it's maybe it just got too hot and they had to overwater it, and that happens with bent sometimes. But
Mhm.
I'm not. They weren't bad, but they certainly were not championship elite level green surfaces. Jewel, what'd you think on that?
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, the Drumlin, the putting course was
Oh,
fantastic, and so we're
Yeah,
great
on
that's
comp.
that
another thing.
on Thursday night, and we're all looking at each other like, "Oh my gosh, this is gonna be
Yeah.
incredible." Then you get out there on Friday, and I kind of wonder. So when we were there, it got into the low 80s. So maybe to your point, it got a little hot this season. But also, are they just putting too many people out there? I don't know. It's
That's what I was
odd.
I
It
don't
thinking, but
doesn't
think
make any
so.
sense.
it never felt like I know they have a packed tee sheet, but they have like 15-minute tee time intervals. So it's not, I don't know, man. That's a good question. And there's I don't know, there's we'll get into this soon, but there's no pull carts, so it's not like people are just ripping up the greens with those. So
Do the caddies wear
um
spikes or what?
yeah, maybe the caddies are wearing spike.
And it
Let's get
looked
that.
like a lot. Yeah, there were a lot of like rip marks and greens
Yeah,
from shoes. You could tell.
Well, I
probably.
remember when we went on the kettle loop, it was much worse than when we started out that next morning.
And that's what I was kind of banking on. Just end of the day, you get those bumps, and also the sun illuminates imperfection, so it looks worse. So I was like, morning, these are going to be perfect. And then to Aaron's point, we get on that first green, and I'm like, it's a little better, but it's still not anything like we experienced the rest of the trip, which were pretty much immaculate green surfaces. Sorry, let's get back on the course. Let's just not be the green haters. But gotta know this is the real deal. If you're going out there and you're going to spend $1,000 over 2 days, you need to know this information. So second hole, I do want to spend some time for a second on that because I think universally everyone loved this golf hole. So
Great
I
hole.
don't, Adam, as our historian, I don't know if this is technically a template hole. I don't know if that's uh, an Alps adjacent type of hole. So basically, it's like a 330-yard par four that about 250 down. There's a massive dune mound. That you can drive. You can, if you can carry it 260 plus, you can go straight over it. And it gives you a line directly to this cool ass turtleback green. But the difference is it has a massive bunker on the front of the face. So if you mess with it, like you're fucking with it. Like you're just punching out at that point, right?
Hmm.
But you can lay up short of it, and it's a pretty wide fairway. But then you are completely obstructed to an extremely difficult green to hit. Again, you could be like Jewel and go over it, or you can go just left of it. But the trade off is it's a very narrow landing space. So,
Or you
Or
thoughts
can
hit it
drive
on,
it
right in
through.
front of that trap.
or yeah, like you hit it right in front of the trap.
Yeah.
You hit a good ball, but yeah, you had a 10 out of 10 difficulty shot. You hit a great one. But yeah, thoughts on the second hole in terms of you just went to one, this linksy style par five. Now you got a short par four with this massive sick dune that
Oh my god, it stayed on.
obscures. You can't see the green, but it tempts you to take it on. So what were your feelings, Adam?
Yeah, I mean, when we played it doing the kettle loop, I didn't really think it was that hard. I drove the green and made eagle, but no, it's yeah, no,
Sick.
it's a very no,
I'm
it's
proud of you,
definitely
man.
one of my
I just teed you up for that, hoping you'd go there, and we didn't talk about that, and you did it. Good for you, man.
Yeah, that's
um,
awesome.
it's definitely one of my favorite holes on the front. That green definitely kind of, I've never been to Pinehurst, but yeah, I kind of get the Pinehurst vibes. If you get a chip around that green, good luck, or a putt. Um, but yeah, super, super awesome green complex.
That green's impossible. I don't know why we all liked it so much, but
Isn't
I
that weird?
somehow hit a perfect distance, but it could have easily been
So
screwed.
Jewel, try thought exercise. Why is that? Because I think we're going to have some takes on some other greens, but that was difficult, but we all loved it. Why do you think that is?
I think it's just so much risk reward from both shots, the first and the second. I mean, Adam drove it. The tees were playing up, but On the second day when we went and played it, I hit driver and I hit it pretty good, and I was 8 yards short. I mean, you can drive that green, and then you can lay it up, and you can hit a little wedge. And the pin placements both days were not crazy. They were fairly benign because that green only has a small surface up there that's flat. So if
You're
you can
supposed
hit
to
a
aim
good
for the middle.
wedge,
Yeah, aim for the
exactly,
middle of that green.
you hit a good wedge in there, you probably have a 10-foot putt.
Right. But but the greens were firm. So you found out about that. You did play well for the day, but you just were in front of the green. You chipped it 20 feet short of the flag. It just released and it trickled off the back of the green. So, but yet we still think positively of it. It's very interesting to me. I think it has something to do with, like, it seems it's right there in front of you. Like, the shot you have to hit, where a lot of the other ones, I think we're going to get into, there's no way to know the shot you had to hit unless you were going to spend 3 hours walking everything off.
Yeah, you know the task at hand. It's like, oh, I've got to be super precise with this chip, or it's going right off the green, and I'm gonna have to play the exact same shot again.
Yep. Okay. Any other thoughts on 2? Okay. So, look, anybody can stop to jump in on a specific hole here. I was kind of bucketizing 3 to 6 because this is where, like, Erin Hills really slaps you in the face.
I have no memory of holes 4 or 5, so maybe that's PTSD. None. I can't
But I think
place
it's
myself there.
because you hit the stretch of the course where you find out at least every tee shot or approach shot is completely blind. Not both. Some holes it is both.
Three's
But
not.
yeah, 3 is pretty open. Your approach shot's a little elevated, and you can't really see what's going on a multi-tier green with severe runoff. But it progressively gets more extreme as you get into 4, 5, 6, and 6 is not obscured, but the green is just, it's like
6 is
impossible.
ridiculous.
It's impossible. It's so
And I
firm.
heard Shane Bacon say, "But you'll never make more than a 4." I'm like, "You out of your mind, dude?"
Yeah, maybe if you're playing it from 150 yards, you won't make more than a
Yeah.
4.
I
But
felt
yeah,
very
you did.
exposed.
So let's take a strategic pause here to go. We did not have caddies. That was by design because we've had. Hey, I got some caddies I really like, but we've had some negative experiences with caddies to the point where we said, hey, like, they're not additive to what we're doing. Like, we want to have fun, but the trade-off is we do care about our golf. Maybe it's not like a destructive level, but I do think we ebb and flow personally with kind of how we're playing. This was probably one of 2 courses I've ever played that a caddy is required. It is a prerequisite if you haven't seen this golf course. There's no book.
If
There's
you
no
haven't seen this
GPS.
golf
If you
course,
haven't seen this golf course.
right.
Now, I will say, even if you've seen it a couple times, there's some lines that I just don't know, because people are already chirping at some of our videos of, these fairways are massive. That's a you problem. I'm like, you don't know the effective landing spots of these fairways. We're talking 4 feet of fescue. You just run off into fairway slope like this, and you got no chance of finding a ball. So let me get off the stage here. I'm going to kick it over to Mr. Golfberg. We didn't have caddies. The world
We're
knows.
fine with that.
The world knows you believe this to be some kind of caddy scam. So do you feel like did your experience confirm or deny that?
Well, first, let us just say that the caddies for the pros makes a ton of sense, especially the way golf is. That makes a ton of sense. We have some friends who are caddies, some lettuce heads who are caddies out there, Corn Ferry Tour, etc. Mad respect for those guys. Good golfers themselves and providing a lot of value to their compatriots. It's this whole thing of, like, the amateur golfer going to the course and getting paired with this guy who's either half in the bag or lazy or trying too hard
Yeah.
and singing songs and making funny and telling stories. And it's like, you come out here with your best friends to, like, have your own experience. And now I have to have this chaperone walk me around the course. And why? Because you can't put a plaque on every tee box that says aim a little left. I actually think this course purposely makes itself hard to understand, but it could so easily be revealed by a couple pro tips and a little bit of perspective. And we've got AI now and cool technology. We could have holograms on there. I don't know. There's probably a lot of different directions we could go to get us the intel we need. But the way they have this course structured is they're like, number one, there's no golf carts. You may not be aware of that. There's no golf carts, even though there are
Which,
cart paths everywhere.
yeah,
And
that
there's
is an
guys
interesting.
driving cart paths all around, like going, "Hey guys, you playing fast enough?" on their carts, and we're like, "Where'd you come from?"
That is interesting. So there's a lot. So just for context, like, look, there's a lot of championship golf courses that are walking only, but very few that have such a structured cart path system. And I think it's because it's like an 8 mile walk, and what did they say? Close to 2 miles in between tee boxes. So it's like necessary just to maintain the course to have
A
those
lot of
kind
time
of
to think
trail
about
paths.
that 3-putt.
The 3-putt.
8 miles of thinking about the 3-putt.
But Aaron, another thing, there's no carts, but there's also no what?
There's no push carts allowed, so you're carrying your bags. Now, that ended up, I'll be honest, not being as bad as I thought it was going to be. I don't know. Actually, maybe they're right there. Someone else jump in on this because
I,
I'm actually having conflicting thoughts
I,
about carrying.
I think it's just because the terrain is so severe that it'd probably be a nightmare on some of those uphill and downhills.
Oh,
with
the hills were, yeah. There's a
is-
reason this place is called Erin Hills. Some of the,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
looks, it's almost borderline gimmicky how hilly portions of, like, what is happening there?
and they would argue it's because it's natural land that they didn't touch. I mean, maybe you would argue that maybe they didn't need to make a golf course on it then, but yeah, pretty wild on that front. But Jewel, Adam, what do you think on? We made a conscious decision to not have a caddy or even a 4 caddy. Would you change it? What are your recommendations to people going out there?
I would have changed it. I tried to change it. It did not work.
You try to get a 4 caddy for the group.
I think after we walked those 5 holes on Thursday evening, it made sense to have somebody tell us where that ball was or which line we should take. I would also say that I think we have a problem with setting expectations for caddies. Like if you have a caddy, you probably should address it right away exactly what you want from them. And that's probably where I've gone wrong in the past. And I've thought about it a lot since our trip. Next time we go on a trip like this, I'm getting a caddy and I'm going to tell them I want them to tell me where to hit it. Maybe read a putt if I ask them, carry my bag, and that's it.
Right. I think
Yeah,
that's a great pro tip though. You need to set expectations with your caddy because especially us, contrary to what people may think, I think we're kind of, I don't want to say people pleasers, but we're empathetic, nice people, at least to people's face. And like I spend half my time worried to making sure the caddy's all right. Like
Exactly.
and I think definitely setting expectations of, if there's something blind or obvious that you couldn't know, but without playing the course, let me know. Other than that, carry my stuff and stay out of the way unless I call you in for something.
I'll push back a little bit on the 4 caddy. I think a 4 caddy would be good as far as telling you what lines to take off the tee, but as far as the other portion that you'd want them to do is find balls that go in the fescue. Man, dude, when a ball went in the fescue, it was just gone. Like I remember the first or second hole. I think it was the first hole looking for a ball, and usually when you go, like I have a lot of experience looking for balls in weird places. Usually when you go looking, you'll find like 3 balls that just aren't yours. I did not find a single ball. Nothing. It's just like they go in the fescue and they're gone.
Yeah.
Um,
It's because
but,
everybody
like,
has their own individual caddy finding balls all day.
yeah, exactly. But I will say, out of any course I've ever played, I'm not pro caddy. I don't ever want to use a caddy again. But like Erin Hills, like it's almost like required that you just have to take a caddy.
Yeah.
Between how difficult that walk is, I mean, that was the most difficult walk that I've ever had. And like I said, the lines off the tee, knowing where to hit it, even some of the greens would have helped. But for me, yeah, like some of those tee shots I hit, it was just like, okay, let me go grab another ball in my bag because that one's gone. I'm not even gonna look for it.
So
yeah, we thought it was a caddy scam because you had to carry your bag, but that's not it. It's just the way the course is designed.
you just make your own decision on that. So okay, so that kind of got us into the meat of the course, the difficult portions. Personally, on my own ball, I think I went on a back-to-back bogey run. I think a couple of that could have been without, because not having a caddy. A couple of it was user error. That's just how it works. But then we got to 7. It was another cool par 5. It was this dog leg left with like a 330 run out bunker. And it was one time we all piped a drive. It was really cool. We all got to one spot in the fairway. It was a good look at us moment. But then you saw it open. It's you can't really tell. But then your approach shot goes back up 30-ish yards back up the hill. Everyone had 230-ish into the green, with dead left and like a 50-yard runoff right. So I
Which you
think
can't really see. Adam
you,
was Adam
you
played it
can't see
smart and
how
laid up.
extreme it is. As you get
Right.
closer, the scale gets more and more extreme. Yeah, Adam laid up and we gave him shit.
It was smart because I tried to go for it with a hybrid. I didn't have enough club. It does that thing where it runs off and gives you the worst. I think it's my least favorite shot in golf, hands down. The 40 to 50 yard pitch shot to an elevated 60-foot elevated green off these tight lies that if you try to hit it with finesse, you're going to chunk it. So I guess you have to put it up a 50, 60-foot hill, which I wasn't going to try to do. You're just completely boned over there. So you have to lay up. I don't know.
Yeah, because it's a really small, like skinny green too. So I don't. Yeah, it's definitely. I think that might be the lesson learned on those par fives in general. Outside of maybe number one, you really are playing for a position. Oh, okay, go to 8. So 8 was another. 8 might be the hardest hole. It's this crazy 100% blind tee shot, but the problem is your fairway is sloped left or right. I don't know. 40 degrees. It's unless it's soaking wet out there, it's impossible to hold the fairway. Jewel came the closest and just got into the rough and hit like the sickest approach ever from 200 yards. Adam and I are in bumblefuck. We actually, was one area where they actually had a starter or whatever, a guy in a cart give you some pro tip advice. And he's like, yeah, that spot, me and Adam, 2 yards left of the spot, he said, and he's like, yeah, that's dead. Like, what?
Right.
But yeah, it was also an area where it's not just how hard it is to hold that that fairway. Man, if you're short of that green, not only does it either have death bunkers, it's one of the areas where the ball can literally come back. I think we shot at him when it happened on a rejection. I think he was 91 yards or 88 yards, something below the surface of the green, and his ball literally stopped like on the fringe, and we stopped looking. And then all of a sudden we go, Adam, we all play up and we're like, Adam, where's your ball? We look back, it's 91 yards.
Yeah, I was getting out of the bunker. I didn't even notice. Where'd my ball go?
The bunker. He's raking the bunker because we didn't have caddies, so we're doing our own work.
Eighth was probably my least favorite hole in the front. I'm not saying that just because I got ejected, but yeah, like you said, that tee shot, I don't know. I mean, you have to execute a perfect tee shot, and it's got to be kind of a little bit of a draw.
Yeah, you got to hook. You got to hit like a big draw.
No, you can take a little off it, end up where I am, but then you're 220 to the most ridiculously uninviting green on the course. And I was thinking, one was kind of fun. You can almost give yourself a birdie chance. Then every single hole since then was a bitch to get through. I mean, every single one of them so far. And then, we're on 8 currently. Craziest hard drive. Jewel hits a fantastic second shot. That was ridiculous. Adam was rejected. I got stuck in the lip of a bunker. Everything just runs away.
I think it would be one of those areas where if a caddy was on here, they would tell you got suckered because the pin was right. And they would have probably said, yeah, just play like 60 feet left, which brings in the left bunker.
And then it stays left, though.
Yeah.
Good luck with that putt.
Yeah. So it is a pick your poison kind of thing. Or you'd be like Jewel and just be in the rough and flag a 4-iron to 15 feet. But, us mere mortals don't do that.
Yeah, that was a really good shot. The only thing I will say on number 8 is there was a bit of a backstop behind the green. So you could play a little long, but if you went too long, then you're hitting downhill with the potential of going off the front. So it was a tough hole.
Yeah. So positive note on 8, it did bring you to like the top of the property on the front 9, and you get this incredible vista. And you go to walking over to the signature 9, polarizing hole. I'm sure we're going to have differing opinions on here. Par 3 protected by, 87 bunkers, spine, fingers, all in front, elevated. Guys, it's beautiful, but the effective landing area of that green is, I know people say a Volkswagen. It's probably literally like 10 by 10. Like Jewel, I think you went first. You hit You had a little cut, and the wind was coming off the left. Tough pin with it tuck left that day. You hit the middle of the green, it rolled off. Adam, you hit the right side of the green, it was gone right. Aaron, I know you were a little. I think we have a video. You lost your hands on that one. It was a little short right. I probably hit my best shot of the day, and it was here from taking the same route Jewel had, but. Man, that's a golf hole, man. And I think we played it at like 155 yards that day or something, 150. I think it only tips out at like 70, 75. I'm sure someone will fact check me, but that's about as hard as it gets in terms of executing a golf
There
shot.
was nowhere to aim on that shot.
Yeah, you just
I
like
thought
hit the flagstick on pure.
The tee box has you kind of veering right. The hole is
Mhm.
kind of going left. The way the green is shaped, put those yeah, it's just insanely difficult. I don't know. Just like good
I can't
luck.
imagine it. Like, it wasn't even really blowing all that much the day we played. When it blows, you
Yes, it
know,
was. I don't know why people
I think the
look at our
footage is
videos.
going to be. I was shocked at how windy it was, but I get what
Did
you
you
mean.
see my
Like,
hair, Adam?
yeah,
I didn't.
but I do know what you mean. Like, we didn't catch it on a 25 plus day, which I know can happen. That would be impossible.
Yeah, I think we compare a lot of our trips to Bandit and the wind experience we've had out there.
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah.
It's like you are either Brooks Koepka or this is like miniature golf on steroids. I mean, it's honestly, if you are not out of this world good at golf, it feels like it's almost too gimmicky, too hard, too nuts. It
Yeah.
never gives you a moment. You don't get, and I'm kind of comparing to, like, I played another US Open course this year, Chambers Bay. So much fun to play. And one thing as a contrast, the green complexes are so weirdly inviting. Like, they're kind of built up and have these banks and kind of places you can look to and aim. And not that you're hitting shots like Planko, but you're just kind of, it gives you some perspective. There's some depth to them. I mean, there's obviously bunkers. It's obviously a tough course too, but man, this course is just out of this world hard. Like, I don't know that I've played a harder golf course. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know.
So that front nine, we can have closing thoughts at the end, but that front nine was, I would think, maybe the hardest 9 holes of golf I've played.
That's what I meant to say. Hardest front nine. Yeah.
So we're gonna roll into the back nine, but before, guys, pretty epic little halfway house there. I like it. It was simple, had the stone features, nice signage. I think at this point everybody's energy was a little zapped of it was a mental grind out there, and a physical grind. What was the move at the halfway house, Adam? What I think there was a special treat in there for you that you are our Mr. Uncrustable. What did you find in there?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that was the only move in. So it wasn't just a regular Uncrustable. They had the jumbo size Uncrustables, which I have never seen before, but it completely changed my life.
It's like a
Honestly,
2.5x
yes,
Uncrustable.
and you could tell it had just been in the fridge all day. It was the perfect temperature. It might have been the best thing I had on property. It was, and that's not to knock the food. It was that good. It was unbelievable.
You don't need 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. You just need 2.
Well,
How many did you
those were a
have?
bit.
Looking back on it, Aaron, I wish I would have grabbed 5 or 6, not to just, house them on the back nine, but just to stash them in my luggage and take them back to Georgia and be like, guys, look what I found. It's like it's literally an artifact.
Yeah, I mean,
Let's
we're talking
find this guy some oversized Uncrustables. Surely there's a Costco or a Sam's or even on Amazon.
man.
There's got to
Those
be
are like
somewhere.
personal
He'd
pan
know.
pizzas.
He would know. It's not that easy.
What we did go to, I think everybody did at this point, is Fescue Finder. Could do a little drink review. I like it. So what is it? It was Jameson ginger beer lemonade with a fresh lime, I believe. I'm not a big Jameson guy, but in terms of it being 70s, 80s, a little warm out, but you need that little hit, refreshing, little double Fescue Finder. I was a fan. I'm pro Fescue Finder.
Super refreshing.
Alternating those and Spotted Cows. Enough Spotted Cows shout out, but good beer. Okay, halfway house is done. We're going to the back nine. I think there were some differing opinions going into the back. Adam, I know you were smitten with the back nine, so I want to give a vocal break here to myself. Shepherd us through some of these back nine thoughts and moments.
Yeah, I really love the back nine. Typically, when I really love a course, it's when I can distinctively like remember holes, and I feel like I remember almost every single hole on the back nine because it just felt like each hole was very distinct, very different. And I think it's on the most dramatic piece of land on the entire property. Just, I mean, we'll get into 12, but the fairway on 12 is just absolutely bonkers. So you start on 10, and 10 is actually one of my favorite holes on the back. And I know,
Really?
yeah, I know it was not one of your favorites. You were losing your mind on that green from what I remember. But yeah, another blind tee shot, kind of going up the hill, but there's kind of like a little bit of a speed slot on that right side. If you catch it, your ball will really trundle down, and you'll get a little bit closer to that green. But the fun really starts with that green where it slopes. It's kind of two tiered where it slopes really dramatically from right to left, and you got that full experience. I got the full experience too, by the way. But you were kind of losing your mind with that green. Any thoughts from you on
Well,
that?
let me give context. First of all, I am about to tee off on the 10th hole, and Jewel tells me, "Hey, you and Adam are tied." And I was red ass because I didn't even feel like I was playing back. And like, look, and that's awesome. You played excellent. This is a fucking hard ass golf course, and that front nine was wicked. And as a 8 handicap, and I was going in as a +1, and we're tied, and it's to start the trip, and it's like it's not what it's about, but your ego in the back of your head is like, okay, I got to get my shit together. Pipe a drive on 10, and it's everything you said. Hit the speed slot. I got basically like a 9-iron in. Maybe it was 8-iron. This was one of two shots at 100%, like just not knowing. Like there's this massive bowl way right of the flag that had no idea that green even existed over there, and it was probably my second best hit iron of the day. At that point, flush it. It's like 2 yards left of the flag. Little wind gets it, probably drifts 3 yards. I'm fixing my divot in the fairway. And then I hear one of you guys go, "Ooh," and I just see my fucking ball on the back of the screen zooming down 30 yards past you and Aaron on the left. And I'm like, this is bullshit. I wouldn't have missed that if I had a caddy. It's like, and then I had to apologize. I won't say anything about a caddy again. But again, it actually is a cool golf hole and green, but definitely one where it's like, you're obscured that the green goes 30 yards to the right, and you're obscured that there's a tier you can't see that if you hit it on the green, your ball's just gone. So I hit that and got a little bit butt hurt, but overall I get it.
That's
I'll do
understandable.
kind of a quick drive by on 11. I think 11 was maybe one of the shorter par fours on the course, and it's kind of deceiving from the tee box because you can't really see. You can't see the green, and you can't see the left side of the fairway. I remember Aaron and I kind of had the interstellar balls to the right, and we were in some really difficult, kind of a difficult spot headed up to that green. Do you have any thoughts on the 11th, Jewel, Goldie?
Yeah, I think 11 was the first time you got to catch a little bit of a break and breathe for a minute. Like 6 through 10 was so challenging. Then you get to 11. And I know you guys said you sprayed it a little bit, but I mean, I hit a really bad iron and I thought I was going to be in the rough. And I was like 10 yards from being in the rough. I was right center of the fairway and still had like a 9-iron in. And that green wasn't overly challenging either. There wasn't a ton of there was a bunker that was right in front of the green and back right, which was kind of not in play. But it felt like the first break was like, all right, I can breathe a little bit. This isn't super challenging after what I just got beat up on.
2 of
Yeah,
us made birdie on that hole.
and they double birdied us. I think Adam and I were teammates at that time. We were doing a little 6-6-6. So unprofessional bullshit. We got double birdied.
Man,
Let's get
I forgot that Aaron birdied that hole. That was from
oh,
where you were at. That's pro level. But yeah, so that takes us into the 12, which the 12 is typically you ask everyone what their favorite hole is. Probably 90% are going to say the 12th. Another blind tee shot, and you get to the top of that that ridge in the fairway, and how severe the drop off and how that fairway just kind of winds down to the green is one of the most dramatic, just crazy fairways I think I've ever seen. And the green site too is just incredible. I mean, everyone probably gets caught up in what's going on in the fairway, but that green site is just kind of like tucked in the most perfect spot, and it just looks like they literally discovered that golf hole and just didn't move any dirt at all.
Yeah,
So
cool tee shot too, because it's obviously got that big ridge, but you can kind of see over it just a bit, and you can peek some grass on the other side, which incentivized, I think, Adam and I just swing a driver and just try to nail one down there, as opposed to 8, where you're just staring at a wall, a
yeah.
hill wall, and just going, I don't know what is happening. 12 kind of it looks nuts and it looks like a slide, but like it kind of invites you in. It's like, look at the way this bends, and maybe you can aim over there, and so
Yeah.
it's a super fun hole from the tee
So
for sure.
pretty amazing footage we got on this hole, not just photogs, but videos. So a little discussion of what the proper line is off the tee. I was adamant I hit the perfect shot because there's these Erin Hills has the most beautiful center line cuts of into the green again, down
Mhm.
grain fairway cut, but the misleading part of that is like those lines really aren't your lines. So we were debating, hey, do you want to be just right of that and take it on? And Adam and Aaron did that and hit drives, nice beautiful cuts right there. Jewel kind of hit like a cut 3 iron, right, Jewel? And I hit a pretty much a straight hybrid, and I was adamant it was perfect. I was talking a lot of shit. The video evidence will show that I was not right, and I was pretty fucked. Had a by the way, I will say, humble brag, a miraculous par on that golf hole. But yeah, certainly that's one where you just have to take on the risk, right? Like you need to hit a cut. And I don't know if you guys really had to hit drivers because your drivers probably flew to the flats there.
Mhm.
I think if you hit like the number, Jewel and I were hitting like 230 shots, right? But if we had enough cut to it, you could have taken that big slope down probably near to where your drives went.
So 13 got the par 3, and so this is the outside of the first hole, this is the only other hole where you have a waste area on the course, and of course I found it, so that was
Oh
fun.
yeah.
Um, any thoughts on 13? Didn't really, I guess on the back
What?
nine, this 13 didn't really do it for me. Maybe I missed
Isn't this the
something.
Adam, isn't this the impossible hole? That just insane par 3?
It was hard with that wind. We'll have a really nice short. So comment, like, subscribe. The problem was, man, the wind was just whipping right to left. So I think all of us wanted to throw it up in the wind right, and 2 of us blocked it way right, and 2 of us hooked it. And when it started hooking, the wind just took it. It was just a hard golf hole. Not aesthetically my favorite, probably my least favorite hole on the side.
It didn't fit the course in the same way that number 1 didn't, but 1 was a much better golf hole.
Mm-hmm.
Like it did not fit the golf course, and also the pin was tucked left. You have the bunkering on the left, then you've got the marsh. It was a really interesting hole.
I'm jonesing to get to 14 and 15. I love this stretch. 12, 14, 15 are the hitters. So
Let's 14.
14, long par 5. You kind of got this long bunker that's middle-ish of the fairway. You kind of have to hug maybe the right side. The fairway winds up to the green, and that green, I just love it. There's so much going on. You got kind of like a little bit of a bank on the back, but then you got this false front running off to the right.
You didn't
There's
hit
just
that, did you?
no, not at all. Yeah, I mean, see, like I got ejected and I loved it, but I'm curious what y'all's thoughts are because it was one of my favorite holes. I just really love the way that green sits up on the hill, and you've just got a lot going on with it.
Yeah, I agree. It was a pretty open drive. Again, wind at our back, so we were able to kind of let it rip. And even if you miss left, the fescue was super low. Like you could find your
Yeah.
ball over there. I know
Yeah,
we
that
found
was that.
Adams, and
Why was that though? Like there was
I
just
don't
like 1
know.
or
There
2
need to be
holes
more of
where,
that.
yeah,
But
weird.
anyway, and I think the most special part of this hole was exactly what you said, Adam, is the green. So and just the area around the green. On the left side of that green, I had maybe that 190 out. and I could see there's a little bit of slopage coming back to the left side of the green. And then back, it looks like there's a ton of it, but really there's not. And if you go just a touch too far, you're up on top of that hill and you're pitching directly downhill like Andrew was. And that's a brutal shot.
I thought I had like 5 feet for eagle, and you guys are like,
It was like if you asked AI to create the craziest possible green you can with no concept of physics or how the game of golf works or is meant to be played, they'd probably it almost looks
oh
like the
yeah,
green is melting off the cliff. It's like a Minecraft green.
yeah. We
It's
have a
I
stick.
I respect it. Precise
see
shot.
this course, man. I've never played a course that belongs more on the ocean that isn't on the ocean than this, because you need to be able to just see that, then look up and go, ah, all right, I know why I'm here. I mean, I can feel the breeze. This is great, because it's like you're in a video game.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I
good.
actually hit the green in 2, and did I 3-putt or 4-putt? Who knows?
It was up there.
Anything
I'm
else?
glad you liked
15?
it, Adam.
I loved it, but
Um,
I did not love it as much as my favorite hole on the course, 15.
Wow, your
shit.
favorite?
Favorite hole.
Cute tee
Short.
shot.
It's the best. I just love short par fours. In this one, I think there's so many decisions to be made on the tee box. Do you lay up? There's bunkers everywhere. There's
Yeah, there's kind of
bunkers-
like 2 primary fairway bunkers that you have to know. Like, hey, am I going to hit the 200 shot or the 240 shot,
Yep.
or am I going to blow it over them?
Right. You can try to just go for the green, or you can, just like you said, is it a 240 shot layup, or are you laying up shorter than that? It gives you options. I just love that.
What are the options? You can't hit it long or short, though, or left or right. You have to hit it perfect distance right in the middle, which a couple of you guys did.
You talking
but-
about the green or your tee shot?
Yeah, the green. Sorry,
Okay.
you're right. The tee shot's cool. I meant the green. You're right.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to that part.
Okay.
But so yeah, I get it. So the green, it's kind of like a volcano green. It's it's perched up there. You're gonna have an uncomfortable shot if you lay up, which I don't know what was playing. I don't know if anybody remembers, but I don't think you were getting to it.
Yeah, it was like 340, like to the stick from the tee box.
Yeah. So I
What do
mean,
these distances even mean with the elevation change, though? Right? It's so wacky.
Well, but it was a good contrast though too, because Adam and I hit drivers and we carried those bunkers and went right up to the front of the greens. Adam had a super precarious lie with a pretty sick outcome. You and Jewel probably played the pro play. You went right up to that 240 bunker, like 3-5 yards short of it. But to your point, then it was the contrast. Like your margin of error is nothing. Even Jules' shot that went in as it's playing right now, I call the cut spin, but there's this ridge in the middle of it. And if you didn't have cut spin, he would have held the green on the left side, but it would have been a pretty bastard putt coming back. Or you just barely fractionally miss it and hit the front edge and you roll back 70, 80 yards. That's what happened to you.
Yeah.
And then in Adam's approach, again, we push drivers up. And when you see that image that shows how difficult, like, I mean, you can't see shit. You see barely the top of the flag. So again, I like the strategy off the tee. I think in retrospect, Jewel, how far was y'all shot in there? Like 100 yards, 80 yards?
I think I had like 70.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like 75 or something.
Yeah, so to me,
Delicate.
that's probably the sweet spot of getting enough loft and enough spin. But man, it's just like you got to hit the golf shot or you're double city.
75. How elevated too? Like,
I'd say 40 feet up, maybe 50
so
feet
you're
up.
just you're so trying to hit this precise wedge, and right, I went short, screwed. Anyway, tough hole. But pretty tee shot with that tree and the way. Yeah, for sure. That's a cool.
For
like that
sure.
one.
But Adam, that was your favorite hole overall or on the back nine?
Favorite hole overall.
What'd you make there, Adam?
I know what he made because
Oh, I
he
know.
swiped a putt. It was awful for birdie.
Oh, I can't wait. Dude, I'm so glad. I can't wait to layer that in too.
Yeah, that's tough.
Sorry, dude. You hit a great shot up there.
Yeah, it was
Yeah, great shot. Yeah.
20 out of 10 approach,
Um,
and then a 1 out of 10 play.
Well, guys, as much as I love 15, 16 and 17, I must have just blacked out because I guess what happened on 15. I just nothing super memorable with 16, 17.
I thought
I had a good
16 was a
shot.
much better par 3 than 13, right? Not great, but it was kind of cool. It's kind of like in a little bowl. It's a
Mhm.
two-tiered green. It's got the bunkers right. It was playing pretty I think it was kind of 180 into the
Long.
wind, so it was playing, it was like playing 200. I thought it was a pretty solid par 3 and kind of
I
fit
think I
with
hit
the
a I
company.
hit a 4-iron that spun back 30 feet.
Yeah. Yeah, you flew it onto the proper tier, and we're gassing it up, and then all of a sudden it comes, scooting back, but not
It's
an
Erin Hills.
exceptional golf hole, but okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
thought
didn't
I kinda liked it too, but hard. Just hard.
Yeah, very tough. I mean,
but
hitting it
fair.
directly into the fan on a par 3 that the green is like maybe what, 30 feet wide
Mhm.
max. It's a
Yeah.
pretty tough hole. Bunkers along the side. It was a challenging par 3. I liked it. It stimulated my mind visually, but
Yeah.
Mhm.
challenging hole. I bogeyed it.
I also think there was a snake track where your ball was at in the bunker. Do you
That was
remember that?
sketchy too. I do
Yeah.
remember that. I
Very
don't like
odd.
snakes at all.
Kinda yeah, this is weird, like, what is that? And we didn't
Mhm.
another thing, outside of
No
the turtle you guys saw on the drumlin, I don't think we saw one animal or wildlife on the property, which is odd. So,
well, that guy buying up all the houses bought up all the animals
Yeah,
too, and Caddy
Bob
got rid of
Bob
them.
Lang, he eradicated all the animals. He got all of them out of
yeah,
there.
Well, they don't want them, stepping and, ruining the fine turf they got going
For
there.
yeah.
sure,
No
for
push
sure.
carts, no animal
No,
hooves.
It would be a mess.
a total
Um,
mess. So,
man, should we
I mean, the
kick it
greens
to
are a mess,
18?
but
Should we kick it to 18?
well,
Yeah,
before we do, can I just say the
you
17th
just want to
hole
talk about making a
I
birdie.
I just wanna say, in full disclosure, that hole was a monster that day. It's not I mean, it's a blind shot. We all hit good tee shots. No, we hit good tee shots, and we all said
Jesus.
it might be good, and we had no fucking clue, and at that point, we were kinda spent.
Golf shot killer.
Um, but it was my first and
Good.
only
Golf shot
birdie
time.
of the day, so tip of the
Yeah,
hat.
well done.
Um, I think Adam commented that was practically an eagle that day, so I was like, I'll take it. So it was my one eagle that day. But all right, Adam, fast track us to 18, dude. Tee this damn thing up, man. Do it justice. No pressure, but
Gosh.
don't fuck this up. People
Oh,
need to
man.
understand what this
So,
hole is.
my least favorite hole on this entire property.
Wow.
Um, so I think from the tees that we were playing it at, typically what probably plays like 630 on the
Yeah, we
card.
we were at the 622 plate.
Okay. When we played it, I legit think it was playing like 800 yards. Wind blowing directly into us. There was a
Much more
bunker.
uphill than it looks, too.
Yeah, so my tee shot found a bunker that it felt like that bunker was like 180 yards in front of the tee box, and I could have swore I hit that driver pretty well, and it just the wind ate it up, and from then on out, it was just an absolute slog. Um, we've got some great I think footage on that hole. I don't know if we need to ruin all the
I'm I may just have a compilation of shots randomly running at this point of maybe throw up the screenshot of what the video files look like. There's about 80 video files for 4 golfers just getting through the 18th hole. Um, so if I'm sure there's going to be some slapstick comments coming up, but so this one into the wind is borderline impossible, right? Because what you just said, it brings those first set of fairway bunkers into play, and 3 out of the 4 of us caught him. Mr. Golfberg, you can get into your epic tee shot, split in the middle, must be easy.
Mhm.
But man, like that is if you could carry those bunkers and you could get into the rough or the fescue or something beyond, at least it's like a traditional 3-shot hole. But man, if you can't get past those bunkers, it is a monster.
because there's landmines past those bunkers. There's landmines everywhere. Like I feel like I found like 4 fairway bunkers before I even got to the green.
That literally, yes, you did 3 of them.
I think the only logical way to play that hole would have been to think of it as you're doing what you can to make 6. You're actually trying to get on the green in 4. And I remember watching the Shane Bacon thing. He does the hole by hole. All he says is stay right. I mean, he said it like multiple times. By my second shot, I was way left. I was in those traps. I never got out of the left. Did I ever get out of the left? I think I got to the green at some point.
No,
7 shots later.
you stayed so left, you just got all the way back to Seattle.
Yeah, no shit. You just got to push it right, and even the third shot in, you can't miss left because those greens there are like literally beach sand. We're nowhere near a beach. Well, that's not true. Lake Michigan. They trucked it in from Lake Michigan. It's impossible sand to play out of. Your club just slides through it.
You almost killed Puffin.
Almost killed Puffin. You can't be left.
Yeah. Jewel, what were your thoughts on 18?
Ugh, fucking tough. I mean, I was even going into 18, we're all exhausted. I'm trying to grind for a score, and I'm looking at this hole, and it's blowing 20 straight into us. It's like, this is literally impossible. And I hit driver into the first bunker, and my next thought was like, yeah, I want to make bogey from here because I'm hitting 5-iron out of this bunker, and I'm still going to be 250 out. Man, it just feels like a tough way to end a very tough day. Like switch one and 18. Something. Give us a little reprieve to close out. So when we leave that green and then walk 300 yards back to the clubhouse without a ride, I'm not going to be in a bad mood at the round I just finished with a double bogey.
It feels like one of two things happened with 18. It's like the course architects, we got through 17 and they're like, okay, so we've got to get these guys all the way back to the clubhouse somehow. Let's design a 650-yard par 5. Or maybe, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, keep going. Yeah, uphill.
Yeah, 100 feet uphill.
Or it all goes back to these guys, or Bob Lang, and I hate to keep lighting him up. He was so consumed with bringing a U.S. Open to Erin Hills that I guess as a finishing hole, hey, let's throw a 650-yard uphill into the wind par 5 for these guys.
Yeah, let's nuke it up.
Yeah.
By the way,
I'm just going to say it for the 10th time too. These yardages don't mean anything. There's something, not just the wind, there's something about the elevation there and what the miss will do to you that I just, it was crazy. I mean, it's truly so much longer than it's written down.
Yeah. On that hole specifically, it was pretty monstrous. Yeah, I think my third, I mean, Adam and I were in those bunkers left, which is an absolute no. And we both clipped the top of bunkers and still have 300 in. And yeah, you're just playing for par, hopefully, but bogey's probably a good score on that hole when into the wind. But then again, I just watched a video. I think NLU just had a video, and they were playing 1 tee up, and it was downwind, and they fucking nuked it 90, 100 yards over the bunker. I think one of the dudes hit a 2-iron over the bunker, and I'm sitting there like, man, that ain't the golf hole we played.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that's golf, so you catch it in a different wind. Half the holes play different, but
par is irrelevant.
Par is irrelevant. So, all right, guys, we deep dived to Erin Hills. By the way, this is our first time, all 4 of us doing that. Kudos. That was really cool. I enjoyed every damn second of it. I can't wait to fucking chop this thing up and overlay our footage. This is going to kill. And if anyone doesn't like it, like, you ain't it. Like, go watch your super corporate conglomerate algo pushing nonsense golf. Why don't you get the real deal over here? The golf dads, the career guys that are out here just trying to share our experiences with you and let us know what the real deal is. So Erin Hills, my closing thoughts are, I started with, I thought I was thinking this is going to be a top 5 golf course for me. I don't know exactly where it nets out, but it wasn't that. It was a little too brutal. I mentioned earlier this year, I got to play Whistling Straits, and I was 100% convinced before any of this, like, Whistling would be mid-tier for me and Erin Hills would be top tier. I'll be honest with you, my experiences was the opposite. There's some other circumstances that may be why that was. But I thought Erin Hills was awesome. Check the box championship experience. I didn't leave it feeling like I have to go back anytime soon. Definitely a couple shots I wish I could hit again. But there were other courses on this trip that I enjoyed more. terms of the property, the operations, the beauty, the challenge, yeah, it's top tier. I don't know where it's going to be for me, 10, 12, 15 on my list. Um, but I'm going to have to kind of tip towards a little overrated, and I just don't get where the accolades universally are coming from, because that is a fucking punch in the face for like 14 out of 18 holes. I rest my case. Someone take it.
I think that the accolades come from a couple of different places. And this is how I would sum up my experience. The facilities, the topography, the just landscape, the service outside of restaurant ops met my expectations, probably exceeded it. The golf course definitely was a bit of a letdown. It was just so hard, and the greens weren't what we had expected. Um, I think part of the reason why people love it so much, I felt like it was a special place staying there. Like I really enjoyed that evening, being on the drumlin, just being, around the guys, having a couple beers, and it's just a really cool place. The other thing is I feel like it's the same thing as running a marathon. Like you just finished this routing out here that's 8 miles and just beat you to hell and back. And I think you get to go home and tell people like, hey, I just stayed at this incredible piece of property and I just got my teeth kicked in on this awesome golf course. I agree. It's probably in my top 16 or so. It's not in the top 10, but I would definitely do it again if somebody paid the green fees and for a caddy.
I got you. Okay, that's fair. Adam.
Oh man, it's really tough. I don't want to completely like dunk on anything because I did enjoy it. I mean, it's on an incredible piece of property. Some of those holes are just absolutely. You're not going to find those holes just you know anywhere in the country. But having said that, like it feels like when this course was built, they were trying to toe the line between, hey, we want this to be a championship course. We want to bring all these major championships here, but also we want to, have a golf resort where we can bring just, it's going to be open to the public. And I think when you're trying to toe those two lines, like me as the casual resort golfer suffers. And I mean, you can just see in the course just how it's laid out. It's not for 10 plus handicappers, man. You're just going to get absolutely annihilated out there. And it's going to, affect your overall kind of golf experience. But I was thinking about it when I initially left, I was like, I don't think I'll ever, have a desire to go back. But now that we've been gone for a few weeks, it might be the place that I'm maybe most excited to return to.
Wow.
Which is weird.
Got a little
And I
Stockholm
think
syndrome?
I say that because I hate to keep bringing up caddies, but if you take a caddy with you, I'm just curious, like if it's a completely different experience.
No.
No,
No.
and I will say that's
I think it
damning on
is.
that's damning on the course itself. It shouldn't be like that.
Yeah.
But if you're going to require me to take a caddy and that's going to improve the experience that much, I do want to see it through those lens. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's tough. Erin?
On a course that hard, that championship level, I need those greens to be dialed in like glass. So if I've got a 10-footer, 15-footer, and I'm a good putter and I put it on the line, at least I get a chance to go in and it's not kind of bumping around and you're getting lucky if you make it. And I'm not exaggerating on that. There was just way too much of that on a course of this caliber. So that was just a little annoying, right? Now I'm also thinking about this course from the standpoint of a destination, right? Like if any friend ever came up to me and was like, hey, we're thinking about traveling to Bandon Dunes. Now, mind you, there's 5 courses there plus preserve, shorties. It's a no-brainer. You have to go there. You have to go to Pebble and Spyglass. Do you have to travel to Wisconsin to go to Erin Hills? Like if that is your point? And I would say no. I think that's more of a regional experience. I think now we tacked it on to Sand Valley. Is it worth going to Wisconsin from the other side of the country for Sand Valley? I mean, maybe. It kind of depends. That was at least fun golf, no question. Erin Hills is not fun golf. So it's this US Open championship experience. And that's got to be the mentality going in. I'm going there to have it's almost like it'd be more fun if it was match play. So you're not thinking about your score. You're just doing shots. You're not real. Well, do shots if you need them, but you're just hitting shots.
Hell yeah, brother.
But I think I'm just a greens guy, so that was just, it stuck with me the whole time. I'm like, this is just nuts. I don't think any green complexes there were inviting, so it's like a really tough course. It just keeps messing with you. I don't know. I haven't played Whistling Straits, but I wouldn't be rushing back to go play Erin Hills. And it had nothing to do with the walking and the bags. That was fine. It was just the course itself. By the way, it's all just green. I mean, all you see is the color green and 2 shades of green. And then there's like this bit of yellow, and the trees are far away. So it's kind of like, I mean, that course needs like an ocean background or like mountains, something to like stimulate you. Cause it's, I don't know. Yeah. I didn't find the holes to be, all these, that shot and that shot all kind of blends in together. Anyway, now I'm rambling, but
no, that's great.
Yeah, I just go back. It just does not feel like it should be. It doesn't feel like it should be a public course. It's weird.
Right.
It feels more like, okay, if it's going to be this championship golf course, all these major events, maybe it should just be private.
Or give me a golf cart.
Yeah. And you know what? What I hate is our guy Doak. He almost designed this course. But it was a deal breaker when our guy Bob Lang was talking about his aspirations to build a course that's going to host a U.S. Open, and
it's not
Doak replied with well, why would you want to do that?
Yeah, hell yeah. Well, why would you want to do that if it's not the right hole? Yeah, so good on old Tommy D, because this kind of seemed like a bad version of a Tom Doak course. Like some people would say the extreme elements and all that, but I still like Doak it's strategic and it gives you a lane to get through and some bowls to use. All right, guys. So that being said, awesome deep dive into Erin Hills. I think this is completely different than the level of content that you're getting, just the gas up, the pictures, the videos. Yeah, we're gonna have that too, and it is amazing, but we want to deep dive, right? We want to show you, we want to tell you about our experiences, how we got there, the ins and outs of everything you need to know, and the no frills, like what our expectations and what the realities were. And this was awesome, and more to come. So this was part 1 of our Wisconsin series. We're going to have another deep dive into everything at Sand Valley. So we're talking the Sandbox, we're talking Mammoth Dunes, we're talking Sedge Valley just open, we're talking Sand Valley. So that's another one hosting USGA championships. We'll touch on the Lido, some interesting intel on that. And then we had Lasonia Links, man. So that's a hidden gem. You're not going to want to miss everything that we have to say about that. That might be the sickest of them all. But that being said, guys, this is Team Plug. We love this stuff. And as always, stay plugged. Adam, can we get it?
Comment, like, subscribe.
Peace.
Let's do it. Hell yeah, guys.